What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock, what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and give you guys my price prediction for tomorrow based off the charts are showing and based off the data is suggesting. I'm also going to break down why tomorrow is going to be a big day for the markets, why it's going to be a big day for NIO, and why you should be watching for some very important announcements. Now, before I break anything down about why tomorrow is going to be a big day, what's going on with NIO share price, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in its description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any of these 12 free stocks could be a free NIO share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 1 week. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Looking at NIO, this thing was down about 6% for the day, and that was after the big news that came out in China. Now, I know it's very unfortunate that they are seeing more strict lockdowns. However, NIO is still actually high compared to where it was before. Because remember, just a couple of days ago, NIO was at $9, and we're still at about almost $11. So why is this significant? Well, NIO was actually up like 17.5% on Friday. So we're only down like 6%. So overall, we're still way more green than red compared to where we were since Thursday. So that still is a pretty decent sign. However, given everything going on in the markets, we do have a very big day ahead of us, and that's tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is the midterm elections in the United States. If you don't know what this is, just remember the entire House of Representatives is up for re-election and 1/3 of the US Senate. This is important because it affects fiscal policy, taxation regulations, and other important things like that that will affect trading, investing, taxation, and things that really affect businesses in America. Now, this is going to be important because this will affect demand as well and consumer confidence. And because of that, it will affect how the market moves. Now, we also have some big earnings tomorrow. We have like Disney, AMC, Party City, a bunch of big ones out there. But also, NIO has earnings on Thursday. So don't forget about this. It's going to be the same time as CPI on Thursday before the market opens. So please be ready for this. It's going to be big for NIO. And because NIO's earnings is still coming up, I still believe NIO has potential to continue pushing. The market is overall more greedy. We have a fear and greed index score of 61, which is a pretty good sign. Now, when it comes to NIO, looking at the data, let me just push this. You guys could see that NIO was underperforming compared to the market, but this thing is starting to outperform the market to some degree, getting a nice bounce. Right here, the price-price ratio is coming up a bit, so that's a pretty good sign. I'm hoping for a nice continuation for maybe like Tuesday and Wednesday, especially right before earnings when NIO does tend to pump up a bit. The banks are still bullish on NIO, and also historically, NIO is green about 55% of the times on Tuesdays. So we tend to actually be green on these Tuesdays, hoping for a nice continuation of that. And when it comes to the overall short interest, it still is on a slight downtrend. It did go up a bit when this thing pumped up pretty hard, which is why that's maybe like part of why NIO is a little bit in the red. But I do believe this thing has potential to bounce. The overall volume, let me just pull this up. The volume is actually higher than average, which is a pretty decent sign. Dropping on high volume isn't necessarily good, but the thing about it is having a slight red day is completely fine after the crazy green day we had. Don't forget we were up like almost 18% for that day alone. We're only down like 6% compared to that, so it still is okay. And I do believe NIO has potential to bounce, like I mentioned. Now, when it comes to the overall short volume percentage, right now the bulls still have control. It's actually pretty balanced right now, but I'm hoping for some more bullish volume to come in. When it comes to the overall setup, NIO is currently down about 6%. We're actually like a minute away from close. And I am anticipating that the market actually has a little bit more room to pump up, and this could actually affect NIO a little bit. On SPY, you will notice that SPY hit that $380 level of resistance. We actually pumped throughout the majority of the day right here. And I do believe SPY has potential to hit 383 if we do keep pumping because of midterms. It's very possible for us to get a strong power hour close. It's very possible. I'm hoping for something like that. Now, if that's the case on SPY, let me actually bring up, where's the QQQ? I have it somewhere here. The QQQ The QQQ has actually outperformed NIO for today. And if we do end up coming down a bit, the next major resistance is going to be around this like 266 zone. Not resistance, support. The QQQ could come down here hoping for a nice bounce, some sideways action followed by a bullish continuation. I want to see this thing hit that 269 level, which is very, very possible. That's the reason why I do believe QQQ could push up. That's also going to be kind of impactful for NIO. It does tend to actually affect how NIO moves. So I'm hoping for a nice continuation. As for NIO, what am I essentially seeing for tomorrow? Well, my prediction in my video from yesterday was NIO breaking above $12 and hitting 12.6, getting a rejection and holding 12 throughout the majority of the day. Instead, we pumped all the way up to $12.38, which was pretty close to my target. But we got a huge rejection as NIO came down, and we continued to plummet to the downside as shorts continued to pile in. And this is also because of the news in China. Remember, China has more lockdowns, and I mentioned that this is something that concerned me for NIO, but I didn't think it would be that bad since we've been hearing about this news for a long time. However, the shorts are coming in, they're selling the stock, they're trying to short it down, so it is very possible for NIO to come down a bit. So what's going to happen for tomorrow? Let me give you two possibilities. The zone to watch for is going to be, let me see, 10.6. If NIO tomorrow comes down like really hard, and we break below 10.6, you see 10.4, it's very likely this thing's going to fill the gap and come all the way down to about the 9.9 zone. But if NIO holds up and this thing starts pumping and pumping and pumping, we could actually retest the $12 zone, maybe go as high as the 12.6, come down, reject it, and end up closing around 11.66 to $12. That's also very possible. Let me draw out a more bullish and bearish possibility, then I'm going to give you guys my prediction. So if NIO comes down like this, right, watch this zone right here. We want to see NIO hold it. If NIO does not hold 10.6, it's very possible we come all the way down and start to fill this gap all the way down here. It could happen over like a couple of days. So please watch that very carefully where that gap zone is. This is just the super bearish possibility. A super bullish possibility would be we continue to get a nice breakout because of midterms. NIO holds this zone. We go all the way up to about 12.6, 12.4, around that zone. I would say 12.5 just to be safe. Then we come down. We end up breaking all the way down to 11.66. We hold this zone throughout the majority of the day. And we end up seeing NIO holding like 11.5 or so, just like this, and having a somewhat green close. I think this one right here is a little bit more likely to happen if the shorts do start to cover a bit. And because NIO's earnings is coming up, it wouldn't make sense for this thing to crash that hard right before earnings. However, this is also very possible if we do get the big break to the downside. Now, I'm optimistic as I'm hoping for this move right here. I'm hoping NIO gets a nice push, and that's what I'm predicting. So please be ready, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and be ready for earnings because it's coming out tomorrow. Not earnings. Midterms is tomorrow, and earnings is going to be on Thursday. So be ready, guys. Be ready for midterms. The market may pump up a bit. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is still incredibly bright, and peace out.